All right, this is Epictetus, The Complete Works, Part 11. If you're ever involved in a lawsuit, you need to consider what you want to preserve and what you want to accomplish. If you want to keep your will in its natural state, you'll be completely unassailable. Everything will go smoothly and you won't meet any difficulties. Because if what you want to safeguard are the things that are entirely up to you and naturally free, and if you're satisfied with them, what else is there for you to worry about? Who is their master? Who can take them from you? If you want to be self-respecting and trustworthy, who can stop you? If you want to be unimpeded, unconstrained, who can compel you to desire something that doesn't seem desirable to you? Or to feel aversion towards something that doesn't seem to you to need avoiding? Now the judge is going to deploy things against you that are widely supposed to be frightening, but it's impossible for him to make you feel aversion toward them. So since desire and aversion are up to you, what else is there for you to worry about? Let this be your introduction, your narration, your proof, your victorious conclusion, your epilogue, and the foundation of your renown. That's why when someone was reminding him to prepare for his trial, Socrates said, "Don't you think I've been preparing for this all my life? What form has this preparation taken? I've safeguarded the things that are up to me." What do you mean? I've never wronged either another individual or the state. But if you also want to safeguard things that are external to you, your body, your property, your reputation, my advice to you is that you better immediately make a start on preparing yourself in every way possible. Try, that is, to find out what kind of people the judge and your opponents are. If you need to clasp their knees in supplication, clasp them. If you need to shed tears, shed them. If you need to whimper, go ahead and whimper. Once you've subordinated what's yours to externals, you must act the slave from then on. Don't chop and change. Don't be prepared to act the slave at one time and then refuse to do so at another. But unambiguously and wholeheartedly be one thing or the other, either free or a slave, either educated or uneducated, either a noble fighting cock or an abject one, either put up with being thrashed to death or offer no resistance at all. God forbid that you should first receive a thorough thrashing and then give up. But if you've been ashamed to be a slave, you need immediately to decide where the essence of goodness and badness are found. That's where you'll find the truth also. But if you yearn for externals, you'll inevitably be whirled here and there according to your master's wishes. And who is your master? Anyone who controls anything you're interested in having or avoiding. My principal task in life as well is to divide things, see their differences, and say, externals are not up to me. Will is up to me. Where shall I look for good and bad? Inside myself, among the other things that are mine. But never call anything that isn't yours either good or bad, or employ in their case terms such as benefit or harm. The point is that where everything important is concerned, no one can impede or constrain me. The getting of things in the realm where I can be impeded and constrained is not up to me, and is neither good nor bad, but the use I make of them is good or bad, and that is up to me. Suppose we were on a voyage. What is it within my power to do? To choose the captain and the crew, and the day and the time of departure. Then a storm falls on us. Why should that be any concern of mine? I've done all I can. Coping with the storm is someone else's business, the captain's. But now the ship is starting to sink. What can I do? All I can do is what I can. So I drown without being frightened, without screaming, without cursing God, knowing that everything that's born is bound to die. I'm not a form of everlasting life, but a human being, a part of the universe, as an hour is part of the day, like an hour. Like an hour, I'm present and then I pass. So what difference does it make to me how I pass? Whether by drowning or fever, some such thing is going to see to my passing anyway. You see skilled ball players doing the same thing. None of them is concerned about the ball, as though if it were good or bad, but they are concerned about how they throw and catch. It's in the throwing and catching their deftness, skill, speed, and responsiveness are manifested, with the result that while I may not be able to catch the ball, even if I make a pouch at my toga, an expert ball player can catch any ball I throw. But if I were anxious and frightened as we catch and throw the ball, what becomes of the game? How can one have the required composure? How will one see what the next move in the game is supposed to be? One player will be saying, throw, another, don't throw, and another, don't hold on to it. This is no game, but a brawl. And in the law of court, what was the ball that was in plain life imprisonment, banishment, a dose of hemlock, losing a wife, leaving children fatherless? That was at stake, but he still played and he handled the ball deftly. So we too need to be both the care of an expert ball player and indifference, as if what was at stake were only a ball. That is, we should do our absolute best to deal skillfully with any external material object, the rather than thinking it is important. We should display our skill in handling it, whatever it may be. In the same way, a tailor doesn't make wool but works with skill on whatever wool he's given. Your food and your possessions are gifts from someone else, and he can take them away, and your body itself as well. You should just work with the material that you've been given, and then, if at the end you've suffered no harm, all your other acquaintances will congratulate you on your escape. But a prospective man will praise you and be pleased for you, only if he sees that you behave throughout in a dignified manner. If he sees that you engineer your escape by behaving with a certain lack of decorum, however, he'll do the opposite, since it's only when being pleased is a reasonable response that congratulating someone is too. What's the meaning of saying that external things may be either in accordance with nature or contrary to nature? It depends on whether or not we see ourselves as isolated entities. Consider a foot, for instance. I may think that it's natural for a foot to be clean, but if you take it as a foot and not in isolation, it will also be appropriate for it to step in mud and thorns, and sometimes to be amputated for the sake of the whole. Otherwise, it isn't a foot. We should think similarly of ourselves as well. What are you? A human being. If you look at yourself in isolation, it's natural for you to live to an old age, to be rich, to be healthy. But if you look at yourself as a human being and part of some whole, for the sake of that whole, it may be appropriate for you to be ill, or to risk your life at sea, or to be poor, or to die young. Why get angry then? Don't you realize then that just as a foot taken in isolation isn't a foot, the same goes for you as a human being? After all, what is a human being? A part of a city. In the first place, a part of the city made up of gods and human beings, and then a part of the city that is supposed to be our nearest and dearest, which is a small copy of the universal city. So must I put on trial now? Must someone else be ill now, or travel by sea, or die, or be condemned in the courts? Yes, because as long as we're in a body like this one, in this world, and among people like these, it's impossible for us to not have all sorts of different experiences. It's your job then to go and say what you must and manage this business properly. And then if the judge pronounces you guilty, you say, much good may it do you. I have done my part, and it's for you to decide whether you did the same. After all, there's risk involved in being a judge as well. Don't forget that. And I think I'm going to end the message of that today.